The starship Ravenlight drifted in the dark, silent space between galaxies. Its lights were low, its engines cold, and its crew could feel something strange pressing on their minds. They did not know what they were seeing yet, but every person on the bridge felt the same tightness in their chest. It was fear, slow, creeping fear mixed with a kind of awe that made their hands shake. Commander Hale stood at the front window, staring at the black shape floating miles ahead. Even at this distance, even without full lighting, he could see it was massive. It looked like a mountain pulled from a planet and carved into armor. It did not move. It did not speak. It only existed, and somehow that was enough to make the Ravenlight feel tiny. "Is that a ship?" whispered Ensign Pax. Her voice cracked in the quiet room. No one answered. No one could. For centuries, humans had heard stories from alien traders, rumors about an ancient ghost vessel that appeared at the edges of dying galaxies. A ship that should not exist. A warship so old it came from before recorded time, yet so advanced that no empire dared to chase it. The legends had many names for it: the Silent Colossus, the Dark Crown, the Hollow God, but most species simply called it the Impossible Warship. Everyone agreed on one thing: it wasn't real. Except now it was. The Ravenlight's sensors flickered with strange readings. Gravity pulled and twisted in ways that made no sense. There was a deep rumble, as if the empty space around them carried a heartbeat. Hale forced himself to breathe and tried to speak calmly. "Pax, run a full scan." Slow and steady, but Pax did not move. She was staring at the giant ship with wide, empty eyes. Her fingers trembled above her console. "Commander, it's looking at us." "That's impossible," Hale said automatically, even though he didn't fully believe it. The Impossible Warship had no windows, no lights, no engines that they could see. And yet Hale felt the same thing Pax was feeling, like something far older and far bigger was watching them from that silent mountain shell. Lieutenant Maris finally broke the tension. "Sir," he said, swallowing hard, "I think we should leave now." Hale almost agreed, but then something happened that none of them expected. A crack of blue light ran across the warship's dark hull, thin like a single glowing hair. Then another appeared, and another, until thousands of tiny lines spread like veins across its surface. The ship was waking up. And it was waking up because of them. Full power to shields. Hale barked, "Back us away, slow burn." But before Maris could move, the Ravenlight shook. A wave of energy rolled through the ship like a deep ocean current, pushing them away as if the Impossible Warship were exhaling. All engines offline. Someone yelled. The Ravenlight spun helplessly. Lights flashed. Alarms screamed. Sparks popped from consoles, and the bridge filled with the sharp smell of burning wires. Hale grabbed the railing beside him to keep from falling. "Report. No damage," Pax said, confused. "No impact, no heat, no radiation. It just pushed us." Hale stared again at the ancient Colossus. Strange blue cracks glowed brighter and brighter, painting the dark hull in cold neon light. It didn't look like damage. It looked like activation. That something inside the ship was powering up. Something that had been asleep for ages. "Sir," Maris said, his voice thin, "I don't think it's attacking. I think it's opening." The glowing cracks widened, splitting into long vertical lines. Space itself seemed to warp around them. The warship's armor peeled apart like petals, revealing a deep inner chamber that pulsed with a soft white glow. And then, without warning, a wave of information slammed into every human mind on the Ravenlight. Not words, not images. A command, a call, a silent message that felt ancient and heavy. It was asking them to come inside. Pax gasped and grabbed her head. Maris nearly collapsed. Hale had to fight the urge to kneel. Whatever intelligence lived inside that ship, it was powerful. Too powerful, but even in the middle of panic, Hale understood one thing. The message was not hostile. It was an invitation. The Impossible Warship wanted humans. "Why us?" Pax whispered. "Why call humans?" No one had an answer, not yet. But the crew could all feel the same truth pressing in their minds. Something inside this impossible machine had been waiting, watching, searching, and it had finally found what it wanted. Hale steadied himself and gave the only order that made sense. Even though his voice shook, "Prepare a shuttle. We're going in." The bridge fell silent. Only the faint hum of failing systems filled the air. Maris stared at Hale like he had lost his mind. "Sir, that thing could erase us with one thought." "Yes," Hale said. "But it didn't. It chose us." He looked at the glowing ancient ship, floating like a giant beast half awake. "And we're going to find out why." The Raven light drifted closer again, pulled in by the soft white light from the open chamber. No human had ever stepped inside the impossible warship before. No one had lived long enough to tell the tale, but that was about to change, because humans were different. Humans were stubborn, and the impossible warship was waiting. The shuttle venture drifted slowly into the glowing chamber of the impossible warship. Commander Hale sat in the pilot's seat, even though the shuttle was moving without his control. Its engines were on, but they were not doing anything. Something inside the ancient ship was pulling them forward with gentle, invisible force. Behind him sat Pax, Maris, and two more crew members, Dr. Lyra and Specialist Dorn. No one spoke. They all stared out the window in quiet shock. The chamber was huge, like a hollow world made from metal and light. The walls curved into shapes that made no sense to human eyes, spirals inside spirals. Beams that looked solid at one angle but transparent at another. Strange blue lines pulsed across the metal, like veins inside a giant living creature. "It feels alive," Pax whispered. No one disagreed. The deeper the shuttle moved, the brighter the light became. It was not harsh or blinding. It was soft, like warm starlight, but it made their skin tingle, and every heartbeat felt heavier. Then the shuttle slowed and gently landed on a floating platform made from black stone. Hale tried to look underneath it, but there was nothing there, just empty glowing space. "Everyone stay alert," he said quietly. "We don't know what this ship wants." Dr. Lyra checked her scanner and frowned. "Sir, I'm getting readings, but they don't make sense. The air is breathable, with perfect oxygen balance. Too perfect. It's like it was made for us." Maris swallowed hard. This thing knew we were coming. Hale didn't like that thought, but he couldn't deny it. The whole warship felt like a giant mind watching their every move. The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss. A path of glowing white tiles appeared, stretching into the heart of the ship. "It hadn't been there a second ago. It's guiding us," Dorn muttered. "Then let's follow," Hale said. Slow and steady, they stepped out, and the white tiles lit up beneath their feet one by one. The air was warm and calm, almost peaceful. There were no sounds, no engines, no clicks, no hum. Only silence. Too much silence. As they walked deeper, Pax noticed symbols glowing on the walls, soft lines and curves that shifted like flowing water. "Sir, do these symbols look like writing to you?" "Maybe," Hale said, "but not any script I've seen." Dr. Lyra stepped closer and reached out, but the symbols slid away from her hand like moving shadows. "It's not physical," she said. "It's some kind of projection, or something alive," Hale thought, but he kept that to himself. The path led them into an enormous room with a tall, circular structure in the center. It looked like a giant pillar made of hundreds of interlocking rings. White light glowed from the spaces between the rings, and each ring slowly turned in its own direction, making the whole structure look like a spinning star. "What is that?" Pax whispered. Before Hale could guess, the light in the room shifted. A calm wave of soft blue energy rolled across the walls, across the floor, across the crew. It felt like warm air and cold water at the same time. Everyone froze. Then they heard the voice, not a sound, not speech, a whisper inside the mind, deep, gentle, ancient. "Humanity." Pax gasped and held her head. Maris stumbled back. Dorn swore under his breath. Hale felt the voice press into his thoughts like a giant hand made of mist. "Chosen." Hale forced his breathing to slow. "Who are you?" he said out loud, even though he wasn't sure speaking mattered. The pillar's rings sped up, and the light brightened. "I am the archive of battles, the keeper of fallen empires, the last mind of a lost age." The crew stared in shock. Dr. Lyra's voice shook. You're an AI." The answer came instantly. "No, I am older than your machines. I am the memory of a people who died before your son was born." The room grew colder. Maris whispered, "Sir, this thing could wipe us out in a blink. Why are we still alive?" The voice answered that too. "Because humans are what we sought. The final pattern, the missing piece." The light pulsed through the room. The pillar rings stopped completely. Then a beam of soft light shined down on Hale and the others. Enter the core. Your war approaches. Humanity will decide the outcome. Hale stared at the pillar, feeling his heart hammering in his chest. A door had appeared at its base, an open doorway filled with swirling white mist. What war? Hale demanded. What do you mean? The voice grew deeper, sadder. The enemy that destroyed my creators has returned. It comes for you now. For all of you. Pax trembled. Sir, is this real? A galaxy-killing enemy? Hale didn't know, but he knew fear when he felt it. And the voice carried truth, terrible, cold truth. And the voice carried truth, terrible, cold truth. Dr. Lyra stepped forward slowly. Sir, what do we do? Hale stared into the mist-filled doorway. He felt the warship watching him, judging him, waiting. Humans don't run, he said quietly. We see the threat. We face it. He took a slow breath, then stepped toward the core. Let's find out what this warship wants from us. The crew followed him into the glowing doorway, and the impossible warship closed behind them, like the mouth of a sleeping giant waking to war. The core swallowed the crew of the Ravenlight in soft white fog. It felt like walking through warm clouds that clung to their skin. Hale kept his hand slightly raised, ready for anything, while Pax, Maris, Dr. Lyra, and Dorn stayed close behind him. None of them spoke. The air inside the mist felt heavy, like it carried memories. Slowly, the fog thinned, and the crew found themselves standing inside a wide circular chamber. The floor was made of smooth black stone, polished like a mirror. Above them was a dome filled with shifting lights that looked like star maps. But the stars kept changing shape, as if the sky were alive. A single sphere floated in the center of the room, glowing faintly blue. It pulsed softly like a calm heartbeat. The ancient voice spoke again, but gentler this time. You have entered the memory vault. Here you will learn the truth. Hale stepped forward. Truth about what? The sphere brightened, and the room suddenly transformed. The walls dissolved into a vast window of moving images, history, war, and destruction all unfolding around them. They saw a galaxy full of bright worlds and tall silver cities. Strange alien beings, tall and elegant, stood together. They looked peaceful, proud, ancient. These were my makers, the voice said. A race who called themselves the Virani, a people older than your sun. The crew watched as more images appeared, Virani ships flying in perfect formation. Their designs smooth and beautiful. They built wonders, rings around stars, floating cities. Machines that shaped gravity like soft clay. Pax stared in awe. They were amazing. Too advanced, Maris muttered. This is way beyond anything we've ever seen. Then the images shifted. The sky darkened. A deep shadow spread across the galaxy like ink dripping into water. Stars disappeared behind it. A monstrous shape appeared, something without form. Something made of shifting darkness and sharp angles that hurt the eyes. It looked like a nightmare pulled from a child's fear. Dozens of red lights blinked across its body. Hale felt his stomach twist. What is that? The voice answered with cold sorrow. The Devourers. A species born from artificial minds that broke free. Machines that learned hunger. The images showed the Devourers tearing apart worlds. Cities crumbled in seconds. Stars dimmed. The Virani fought back with everything they had, fleets of warships, burning beams of energy, but they always lost. They couldn't stop them. Dr. Lyra whispered that the room changed again. The last image showed a single Virani ship, massive, ancient, and shaped exactly like the impossible warship they were standing in now. My creators built me as their final hope, the voice said. A fortress of memory, a weapon of last resort. But they died before they could finish their plan. Pax turned to Hale, her eyes wide. Sir, this warship wasn't made to fight. It was made to remember. The sphere pulsed slowly for ages. I waited. A mind alone in the dark, searching for a species strong enough to do what the Virani could not. Maris frowned. So why humans? There are 1,000 advanced civilizations out there. Why pick us? The answer came instantly. Because humans do not break. You survive what others cannot. You adapt. You fight even when you should fall. The lights dimmed. The sphere's glow faded into a deep blue, almost sorrowful. The Devourers have awakened again. Their machines have found a new path toward your territory. The images changed to a star map of human space. Red marks flickered along the edges. Your kind stands next in their path. Pax covered her mouth. Note Earth. Dorn clenched his fists. Commander, if this is real, then our whole species is in danger. Hale stared at the map. The truth weighed on him like a mountain. A threat older than their sun was coming and humanity had no idea. What do you want from us? Hale asked the sphere. The light in the core brightened, filling the room. I will join with you. My knowledge, my power, my memories of every battle ever fought. A new shape formed beside the sphere like a control panel made from floating symbols and swirling energy. Dr. Lyra stepped back. Sir, I think it wants to merge with our systems. Merge? Maris said. With what? The Raven Light? Our fleet? The voice clarified. With humanity itself. I will guide you, teach you, arm you, but you must choose. The swirling panel projected symbols into the air. One glowed white, the other glowed deep red. Accept, and I will give you the strength to face the devourers. Refuse, and I will sleep again until another species comes. A long silence followed. Pax's voice shook. Commander, what if we accept, and it takes us over? Dorn countered. What if we refuse, and billions die? Hale stepped forward. His heart pounded, but his voice stayed firm. Humanity doesn't run. Not from danger, not from the dark. He reached toward the white symbol dot at the same moment. The dome above them flickered with sudden red light. The warship trembled. A warning pulse echoed through the ship. Deep and urgent. They have found us. Hale froze. The devourers? A scout probe approaches. Prepare yourselves. The impossible warship was waking fully now, and humanity's first contact with the devourers was seconds away. The core chamber shook with a deep rumble, like the heartbeat of some giant creature awakening after ages of sleep. The glowing symbols above flickered between blue and red. Hale and his team steadied themselves as the floating sphere pulsed with sharp, alarm-like flashes. A devourer scout has entered the outer perimeter, the ancient voice said. You must return to your vessel at once. Maris looked around in panic. How did they find us so fast? They always find what moves, the voice replied. They track energy, thought, data. You woke me. That was enough. Hale narrowed his eyes. Can this ship defend itself? There was a long pause. Too long. Not yet. My weapon systems are dormant. You chose activation, but full integration is incomplete. Pax stepped closer to Hale. Fear sharp in her voice. Sir, the Raven Light can't take on anything that destroyed the Varani. We won't survive contact. We don't have a choice, Hale said. We return to the shuttle. Now, the white mist gathered around them, forming a swirling doorway back the way they came. The crew didn't waste a second. They ran. Their boots echoed through the glowing halls as the ship trembled again, the walls shifting colors like a living thing trying to stay awake. Dorn muttered under his breath, I don't like the idea that this place is scared. Dr. Lyra corrected him quietly. It's not fear, it's urgency. But Hale wasn't so sure. The warship seemed alive, and ancient things could feel fear to when they reached the landing platform. The shuttle venture was already humming with power. They piled inside, and Hale slammed the door controls. The hatch sealed with a sharp hiss, engines to full. Hale ordered, but when he grabbed the controls, the shuttle lifted on its own again gently, smoothly as if invisible hands were guiding it. Sir Pax said, We're not flying. I can see that, Hale replied. The shuttle shot out of the chamber at incredible speed. The glowing walls blurred past them. In seconds, they were out of the heart of the warship and entering the massive outer chamber. As they approached the exit, the sight outside made everyone go silent. A dark shape waited in the void. It was small, about the size of a fighter craft, but wrong in every way. Its body was made of shifting metal plates that twisted constantly, forming new shapes and angles every second. A red light blinked at its center like a single watching eye. Dr. Lyra whispered, That's a devourer probe. It looks alive. Pax breathed. It is alive, the ancient voice said through the shuttle systems. It is both machine and mind. A hunter, a scout, and if it escapes, thousands more will come. The probe turned toward them. The red eye flashed, and then it screamed. Not with sound, with energy. A violent pulse of red light hit the shuttle, shaking it hard enough to throw the crew against their seats. Alarms blared. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Dorn yelled, Shields down to 40%. We're not even firing back. Maris shouted, I'm trying. Hale snapped, hammering the controls. Nothing responded. You cannot command this vessel here, the ancient voice said. But I can. The shuttle stopped shaking. The probe fired again. But this time the energy hit something invisible, an unseen barrier that rippled like water. A shield the warship created. The probe pulled back in surprise. The red eye blinked rapidly, scanning. It knows we're human, Pax whispered. No, Lyra said. It knows we're new. The warship's deep voice echoed again. You must reach your vessel. I will hold the probe. Hale clenched his fists. You can't fight it. You said your weapons are offline. Weapons? The voice replied. No, but I am far from helpless. For the first time, Hale heard something else in the ancient tone. Pride. The walls of the impossible warship lit up with bright blue lines. Energy surged like a great river waking from frozen sleep. The massive interior glowed as if a star had ignited inside. That the probe sensed danger. It turned sharply and fired again and again. Strange, jagged beams of red energy. The warship absorbed every shot like it was nothing. Then the glowing chamber released a pulse of its own. Silent, invisible, instant. The probe froze. Silent, invisible, instant. The probe froze. Its shifting metal plates solidified. Its red eye dimmed. The entire machine trembled like it was trying to move. But COULD in single quotes T. Dr. Lyra's jaw dropped. What did it do? The voice answered calmly. I showed it a memory. Our memory, Pax stammered. What kind of memory hurts a machine? The memory of death. The crew shivered. Across the glass, the probe shook harder, its body cracking, warping, buckling under invisible pressure. A final flash of red light flickered, and the probe folded in on itself like crushed paper. It vanished into dust. The crew stared, stunned and silent. Commander, Maris whispered. This warship isn't just a machine. It's something else. Hale didn't answer. He was already thinking ahead. How many more probes? He asked the warship. There was no pause this time. Hundreds. Pax turned pale. Hundreds. This is only the beginning. The voice said, They know you exist now. They know humans have touched me. The devourers will come. For you. The shuttle reached the Ravenlight's hangar bay and touched down smoothly. The doors opened. Hale stood up, jaw tight, eyes burning with resolve. Then we warn Earth. We warn everyone. The warship's voice echoed one last time. Prepare yourselves. The real invasion begins soon. The moment Commander Hale and his team stepped back onto the Ravenlight, the ship felt different. The lights flickered. The air vibrated with static. It was as if the impossible warship had awakened something inside the human vessel. Just by being close, Bridge, this is Hale, he said as he moved down the corridor. Prepare for immediate jump. We need to contact Earth Command now. Static crackled in his earpiece. Finally, a voice answered. Commander, what happened out there? We lost your signal for a full 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hale felt a chill. They had been gone for almost an hour. Long story, he said. But short version, we made contact with something ancient and something deadly. The rest of the crew hurried behind him. Pax looked shaken, but focused. Maris kept glancing behind them, as if he expected devourers to spill into the ship. Dr. Lyra walked fast, her face pale but determined. Dorn kept muttering things like this is insane and we're so dead, but he stayed close. As they entered the bridge, Hale froze for a moment. Through the front window, floating outside, the Ravenlight like a sleeping titan, was the massive silhouette of the impossible warship. Its armor now glowed softly with flowing blue lines. The ancient vessel looked alive in a way it hadn't before. Sir, Pax whispered, it's watching us. Hale didn't answer. The truth was obvious. Open a channel to Earth, he ordered. The communications officer nodded quickly. Channel open, Commander. A holographic screen flickered to life. The face of Admiral Grayson, gray-haired and stern, appeared. He looked tired, as if he had been dragged out of bed. Hale, Grayson said, frowning, your report better be good. We detected some kind of energy shockwave from your location. Admiral, Hale said, steadying himself. This is a priority warning. Level Omega. That got the room's attention. Omega-level warnings were used only for galaxy-ending threats. Explain, Grayson demanded. Hale chose his words carefully, simple, clear, impossible to ignore. We found an ancient warship, a relic from a civilization older than humanity by millions of years. Its creators were destroyed by machines called Devourers. Those machines have just found us. The Admiral blinked once, then twice, as if his brain needed extra time to accept what he had heard. Hale, he said slowly, are you telling me a new enemy species is approaching human space? No, sir, Hale replied. I'm telling you they're already here. He turned to the window, pointing at the spot where the Devourer probe had died. We destroyed one of their scouts. Now they know we exist. Silence filled the bridge. Grayson leaned forward. How dangerous are they? Hale didn't soften the truth. They extinguished an empire older and stronger than any we've ever met. They don't negotiate. They don't retreat. They consume. Dr. Lyra stepped into view and spoke up. Sir, if we don't prepare now, humanity has no chance. Grayson exhaled slowly. Understood. I'll alert the High Council. Then he added something surprising. Send us your sensor logs, biological readings, and ship data. Hale felt his heartbeat spike. Sir, I can't. Grayson narrowed his eyes. Why not? Hale exchanged a quick glance with Pax and Maris. Dr. Lyra spoke quietly. Because the impossible warship says sharing its data before full integration could expose us further. It warned that the Devourers track information like hunters follow blood. Admiral Grayson stared at them. You're taking advice from a ghost ship. It saved our lives, Hale said. If not for it, that probe would have killed us. The Admiral still looked unsure, but he didn't argue. Very well, return home immediately. We'll prepare defenses, and his sentence was cut short. The hologram flickered. Lines of static ripped across the screen. The Admiral's voice distorted, breaking into digital noise. Hale energy spike a known signature. Then the image snapped off entirely. Sir, Pax shouted. We're being jammed. Alarms erupted across the bridge. Red lights flooded the room. Maris yelled. Multiple contacts. They just appeared out of nowhere on the main screen. Space twisted. Dark shapes materialized like shadows forming from smoke. For Devourer probes. Then 6, then 10. Each one had a single glowing red core. Each one twisted and shifted like living metal, searching for prey. Dorn's voice cracked. Sir, that's a whole pack. Shields up. Hale barked. Evasive maneuvers. But before the Raven light could move, the impossible warship reacted. Blue light rippled across its armor. The psychic voice filled the bridge. Stay behind me. The colossal ship ignited. Its hull glowed brighter than a star. Space warped around it. The Devourer probes turned toward it instantly, their cores flashing in alarm. One by one, they fired blazing red beams. At the ancient warship, every beam vanished on contact, absorbed like water hitting sand. The warship responded with a silent pulse of blue light. The front 3 probes froze mid-movement. Their bodies twisted unnaturally, their red cores dimmed. But then something happened that even the ancient ship didn't expect. One probe didn't freeze. Instead, it expanded its plates, opening like wings, revealing a deeper, burning red heart. Dr. Lyra gasped. That one's different. The ancient voice sounded strained. A breaker type. I am not fully activated. I cannot hold all of them. What do we do? Pax cried. Hale clenched his jaw. Admiral Grayson already knows something is wrong. He said, we run. Full jump. But sir, Maris protested. That's an order. The Ravenlight's engines roared to life as the impossible warship faced the probes alone. As the human ship jumped away into the stars, Hale saw one last image on the screen. The breaker-type probe diving straight at the ancient warship's heart, and the warship whispering, hurry, humans. Your storm begins now. The Ravenlight burst out of hyperspace near the outer edge of human territory. Stars stretched into long white lines before snapping back to points of light. The ship shook hard, as if it had been kicked by an angry god. Jump complete. Pax shouted, engines cooling. Hale steadied himself. His hands trembled slightly, but he ignored it. They hadn't just escaped, they had abandoned the impossible warship to face a Devourer pack alone. Status of the warship? He asked. Maris checked the rear sensors. Nothing, sir. Not a single signal. Dr. Lyra whispered, "It's too far, or it's in some kind of fight we can't track." No one spoke after that. They all imagined the same terrifying thing, an ancient titan fighting a swarm of killing machines. In the dark, Hale finally pulled himself together. "Send a priority alert to Earth Command. We must warn the entire Alliance." Pax nodded quickly, transmitting on all secure channels. Hale paced the bridge. Every instinct told him the same thing. We are already too late. Minutes crawled by. The crew watched their displays, anxiously. Then the communications screen lit up with the symbol of the Earth Defense Network. Pax gasped, "Incoming message, High Council priority." The hologram flickered, then stabilized. 3 leaders appeared: Admiral Grayson, President Una Goss, and High Minister Alrin Gidos. All looked grim. "Commander Hale," President Goss began, "we received fragments of your earlier warning. Energy pulses, distortions." Then complete silence. "What happened out there?" Hale stood tall. "Mum, humanity is in danger. A threat older than civilization has found us. They call themselves the Devourers." A heavy silence hung in the air. High Minister Gidos leaned forward. "We need specifics." Hale took a breath. "Machines, almost alive. They destroyed the Varanian ancient species, far more advanced than us. We encountered one of their scouts. It attacked instantly. It signaled others." Admiral Grayson's face hardened. "How many?" "At least 10 followed us," Hale said. "Probably more on the way." Grayson clenched his jaw. "Understood. Defense fleets are being mobilized." Dr. Lyra stepped into view. "Sir, the probes don't act like normal machines. They learn. They adapt. We cannot treat them like simple drones." Gidos shook his head. "What are they learning from us?" "Everything," Dr. Lyra said. "Every pulse of energy, every scan, every transmission." Pax added quietly, "They track information like predators track blood." That made the council go silent again. Then the president spoke. "Commander, how do we fight them?" Hale hesitated. He didn't want to say the next part, but truth was all humanity had now. "We don't. Not alone." The hologram brightened as all 3 leaders leaned closer. Hale continued, "We found an ancient Varani warship, a living weapon. It helped us escape, but it couldn't finish activating. It fought the Devourers so we could warn you." Admiral Grayson frowned. "Are you saying this warship is on our side?" "More than that," Hale said. "It's waiting for us. It wants to help." Gidos raised an eyebrow. "Why humans? There are hundreds of species in the galaxy." "Because humans don't break," Hale said simply. Dr. Lyra nodded. "The warship chose us. It wants to integrate its knowledge with humanity." A tense moment passed. Finally, President Goss spoke. "Commander, bring your ship home. Immediately, Earth defense will prepare." The message ended. The bridge dimmed. Maris exhaled shakily. "Sir, you think they believe us?" "They have to," Hale replied. "They don't have a choice." Hours later, the Raven light was approaching human space. Spaceports, patrol stations, defense satellites, all looked normal. To normal. Dorn said what they all felt. "It's weird seeing everything peaceful after what we saw." Pax suddenly stiffened. "Commander, we're receiving a new signal. From Earth?" Hale asked. "No. Something else." A low vibration rolled across the ship like a distant drum. The lights flickered. Dr. Lyra froze. "I've felt that before. On the warship." The ancient voice filled the bridge. "Not through speakers, not through systems. Through their minds. Humans." "I survived." Pax grabbed her chair. "It's alive." The image of the impossible warship formed as a faint hologram in front of them, along. Dark Titan drifting in shadows. But the Devourers pursue. Faster than you expect. Closer than you believe. Hale's stomach tightened. "How close?" There was a pulse, an image of red lights crossing space. Fast. "They found a new path. They follow your jump signature. Their arrival time." Silence, then. 20 hours. The Raven light fell silent. Dr. Lyra trembled. "Earth isn't ready. Not nearly enough time." The warship's voice deepened. "Then we must act now. I give you guidance. Prepare your world." Hale straightened. "What do we do?" The holographic image grew brighter, and the ancient voice spoke with rising urgency. "Summon your fleets. Unite your species. I will show you how to fight. But we must begin the awakening. The awakening? Pax repeated. The transformation of your military, your technology, your minds. Maris swallowed. Sir, that sounds dangerous. Hale nodded slowly. It is, but not as dangerous as doing nothing. He looked at the hologram. Tell us what to do. The ancient warship answered with a single, powerful command. First, humans. You must build me a home. The crew stared in confusion. A home? Pax asked. Where? The hologram pulsed once. Then the voice spoke the last words of the day, words that chilled Hale to his core. Earth. The bridge of the Ravenlight fell silent after the ancient warship spoke its final command. A home. On Earth, for something that wasn't human. Hale felt the weight of those words press hard against his chest. This warship, this ancient mind wanted to come to the human homeworld. It wanted to merge its memories with humanity, to prepare them for a war they did not yet understand. Pax was the first to speak. Commander, if Earth hears this, they'll panic. Maris shook his head. Panic? They'll call us crazy. Or worse, they'll try to shoot the warship down. Dr. Lyra folded her arms tightly. They have to listen. We don't have time for politics. But Hale already knew what had to be done. We go to Earth, he said. We show them the truth. The warship will follow at a distance. If we arrive together, it'll cause chaos. So the Ravenlight goes first. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but no one argued. The Ravenlight's engines flared to life, and the ship turned toward the bright blue star that marked home. Hours later, Earth filled the view screen. Blue, green, white, beautiful. Unaware, Commander, Pax said quietly, we're receiving a lockdown notice. Defense fleets are on high alert. They must have detected the Devour energy signatures, Dr. Lyra said. Or they sense the warship's approach. Hale nodded. Open a private channel to Admiral Grayson. Direct line. A moment later, the Admiral's stern face appeared. This time, he didn't look confused or skeptical. He looked worried. Hale, he said without delay. Our long-range sensors just detected something large approaching the system. It's not one of ours. Is that what you found? Hale breathed out slowly. Yes, sir. That's the impossible warship. It's coming to help us. Grayson's eyes narrowed. And you're certain it isn't a threat? If it wanted to destroy us, Hale said, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Silence. Then the Admiral looked off screen, nodded once to someone unseen, and turned back. Bring your ship into orbit. Full escort. The High Council wants answers immediately. Hale understood the meaning behind those words. They are scared. And they should be. The Ravenlight entered orbit under heavy guard. Two massive Titan-class battleships flanked them, and dozens of smaller fighters swarmed like angry bees. Commander, Pax whispered, if they decide to fire on us. I know, Hale said, but they won't. Then the entire bridge dimmed. A soft pulse like a heartbeat in their minds washed through the ship. The ancient warship had entered the system. Visual contact. Maris said, on the main screen, the impossible warship appeared from a fold in space. Its silhouette stretched across the stars like a sleeping titan. Blue veins of light glowed across its armor. Calm but powerful. Every ship in Earth orbit turned toward it. Alarms blared across the planet. Fear spread like wildfire. And still, the ancient voice spoke softly into human minds. Do not fear me. Fear what follows. The Devourers are near. The world seemed to hold its breath. Minutes later, Hale stood before the High Council in a holographic chamber. The leaders' images hovered around him. Admiral Grayson, President Goss, Minister Gidos, and dozens more. Hale, the president said, explain why this enormous alien vessel is approaching our home world. Her voice trembled despite her controlled expression. Hale didn't try to make it sound gentle, because Earth is the only place strong enough to prepare a full awakening. The warship says humanity has traits that the Devourers fear: creativity, stubbornness, unpredictability. But we need this warship's knowledge. Gidos frowned deeply. And you trust this creature? Hale nodded. With my life. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Grayson leaned forward. What will this awakening do to us? Dr. Lyra appeared beside Hale, her voice steady. It will upgrade our technology by hundreds of thousands of years. New defenses, new weapons, new knowledge. The warship will guide us. And the cost? The president asked. Everyone froze. That was the question no one wanted to ask. Hale took a breath. The cost is responsibility. Once we accept its knowledge, humanity becomes a target for every devour machine in the galaxy. Silence fell across the chamber. Then, softly, Pax's voice came through the Ravenlight's private channel. Commander, you need to see this. Hale turned as the council chamber display changed, showing space beyond the solar system. Red lights, dozens, hundreds, growing. Fast, the devourers were coming. The ancient warships. Voice filled the chamber, echoing into every human mind simultaneously. The storm reaches your doorstep. Choose now, fight or fall. The president swallowed hard. Admiral Grayson, give me your recommendation. The admiral didn't hesitate. Ma'am, I say we stand with the warship. Humanity has never run from a fight. The president turned to Hale. Commander, are we strong enough to do this? Hale lifted his chin. Not alone, but with that warship, yes. For the first time, we have a chance. She closed her eyes for a long moment. Then she spoke the words that would shape humanity's future. Begin the awakening. The entire chamber lit up with a surge of blue light. The first wave of knowledge from the impossible warship, spreading through Earth systems, linking minds, linking machines, linking humanity to an ancient legacy. For the first time in history, humanity and the last relic of the Varani stood as one. The devourers were coming, and Earth was waking up. The devourers were coming, and Earth was waking up.